You want me to play the first one? Okay, starting a new game.
Yep. We've beaten this game a few times before.
We have. We have beaten this game a few times. So we're just gonna play through, see what happens.
Yep. Ooh. Cool music.
We'll get through this little intro here. Play through our first day momentarily.
Yep. I want to do the Captain Olimar voice.
Oh, okay. You're gonna do a Captain Olimar voice.
Yes. My name is Captain Olimar. I'm just kidding. My name is Captain. No, that's too funny. My name is Captain Olimar. And then you talk.
Oh, you want me to read the rest of it?
Whenever Captain Olimar is talking, I'm going to read and then you can take over on the reading again.
Well, he's still talking.
My name is Captain Olimar. While traveling through space, my ship was struck by a meteor. I must have blacked out and awoke on the surface of this weird planet. With so many parts lost, the skeletal hole of my beloved dolphin is a painful sight. The engine is gone. I'm stranded.
Oh, no.
To make matters worse, my atmospheric sensors indicate that this planet's environment contains high levels of poisonous oxygen. My life support systems can function for only 30 days. If I can't repair the dolphin by then, no, better not think about it. I must find the missing ship parts.
Alright. So, here we go.
And we're gonna take turns every time.
Okay, so this is Mommy playing. Whoop! Ran
Yeah,
into a stump.
It's been a while since we've played Pikmin. But I had some warm-ups on Pikmin 3.
We are just
before we play.
up close with this, aren't we?
You can't go up close until you find until you pick your first Pikmin.
Yeah.
It's up close.
Well, we were zoomed in really close there, but now we should be able to change it.
No, like after you plug your Pikmin, it changes.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
A strange thing has appeared before me. I had barely begun my search when it reared up as if it were waiting for me. It has dropped by it then dropped a single seed. What is it? Is it alive? Is it a machine? It resembles a vegetable on my home planet that we call an onion. I shall call this an onion too.
Alright.
With Pikmin 1, you have to wait until their thing pops up.
Yes.
But in Pikmin 2 and Pikmin 3, it doesn't take as long to do it.
I feel like that's just for dramatic effect here. It takes forever for the first one to pop up.
Yes, and then it takes like a second for all the other ones. The seed that the onion dropped took root in the soil and has now produced an adorable little sprout. This sprout emits a strange light, and it sways back and forth without benefit of wind. I cannot help but think it is calling for me, and I am compelled. I must approach it and press A.
Okay, pressing A. Oops. There we go.
I think that also just adds dramatic effects whenever you pluck the Pikmin.
Maybe.
Extraordinary. When I plucked the sprout, it turned into a living creature. It turned out to be a living creature, not a plant. Picking it has done no visible damage. It just stands there, staring at me. Its shape is similar to brand carrots I love so much. I believe I shall call it the Pikmin. Here I am, stranded on a toxic planet, fighting to survive. And yet I am intrigued. I must research this fantastic creature. I shall grab it and throw it with A. I will call it to my side with B. Perhaps it will react to C and X as well.
Okay, so it's telling us about the controls.
following controls to appear to allow me several viewpoints. L to rotate the camera. Hold to follow the cursor. R to zoom in and out. Z to change angle. I must survive. I need to familiarize myself with these controls and my surroundings.
Okay, so L, and it rotates the camera in the direction that the cursor is pointing. R, zoom out, zoom in, zoom to the middle, and then Z, you can do a bird's eye view to rotate the camera or back to a forward view. Okay.
Yes, which that is not the normal video game view they have. It's usually first person, but that's third person. There are two third person views, from up front and from the back. I don't know. I think they're both called third person views.
Alright, you gonna read this one or do you want me to?
I want you to because my mouth is starting to hurt. I usually don't read as much because I do school at home right now because of COVID-19.
Too much reading hurts your mouth. What does this Pikmin think of me? I must observe its reactions. The more things I try, the more reactions I can catalog. I shall attempt to grab and throw it with A and call it to my side with B. Perhaps it will also respond to C and X. Oh, I guess it really wants me to do that, so it'll quit telling me about that. There we go. We're going to throw it, call it.
I think you're supposed to throw it at the thing.
And there's our C button. Okay.
And then the X is to separate it.
Oh, yeah. We only have one right now. So.
Yeah. Yeah, so we don't need to separate it into different groups.
So
but the awful thing about this game, right? The awful thing about the original version of this game that we have the original version and we're playing it. The awful thing about it is there is no sorting button for the Pikmin.
Oh yeah.
Like while you're holding them, you can't sort them like Pikmin 3.
It is a challenge, that's for sure. Astonishing! The onion has sown more seeds. The red pellet, the small red pellet the Pikmin harvested after cutting down a flower seems to be some type of food that can propagate more Pikmin. The onion seems to be a sort of incubator. Needless to say, I must study this strange life form more. Okay, so the pellet tells us how many we need to have to carry it. Here, we're going to go ahead and knock this one down too.
And that also says the amount of the Pikmin that you will get, but one of the people that I watched who played Pikmin 3 and read that thing for Pikminology, he did not believe that because for the one pellets it did 2 because it would do 1 because there's nothing under 1 if you got the wrong Pikmin, so he didn't believe that. But you would still get half if you did like a 5 pellet.
These are taking a long time to grow too. Maybe I just forgot how long it takes for the Pikmin to sprout.
Yeah. What if when you did stuff on this game, you would always bring enemies back and not go check the onion, well, not be at the onion.
So if you're carrying a pellet that is the same color as the Pikmin carrying it, you actually get more seeds than what the number is. So like this will produce a little bit more than 5.
No, that produces 5, but if you did it with like blue Pikmin, it would produce like 2 or 3 blue Pikmin.
Well, I think let's see what happens here. Come on, Pikmin.
It produces the number on the pellet if it's the same number.
Oh, it does. Okay. So, but if you...
I guess you didn't remember that from Pikmin 3.
Well, I just was confused. Okay. So it produces that number, but if you carry it with a different color Pikmin, you get less.
So if you do like the 20 pellet with like a blue Pikmin, you only get 10.
Except for the number 1. If you carry with the same color, you get 2. If you carry with a different color, you just get 1.
Yeah. That one guy was kind of confused with that, and he thought that the game was lying.
Oh.
That Mojo Matt guy.
Well, you know, we learn things as we go, and I probably have forgotten quite a bit about this first game, so I may say some things that are not quite right.
But I have been practicing on Pikmin 3, so and that has like triple the quality of this game, and it has everything in this game, but more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Pikmin 3 is pretty fun. This is a great introduction to the Pikmin world, though. I really enjoyed playing through this the first time, especially.
And I'm glad Daddy introduced you to this game.
Well, me too. The Pikmin are as curious as children. They form groups to perform tasks that would be impossible for an individual. A glimmer of hope has begun to shine in my heart. If I can make use of their skills, perhaps I can fix my ship. I shall sum up all I've learned of Pikmin conduct. Approach and press A to pick sprouts. Press A to grab Pikmin. Release to throw. Press B to call them. X to dismiss. Use C to command and control the group. L, R, and Z control perspective. I shall record all of this in my computer. I can press Y to access the computer. Alright.
You can press why not to access the computer. Look, I'm good at those jokes. You know, in Pokemon, my Sobble for Pokemon Sword, my Sobble is actually called Happle.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, a Sobble called Happle. Get it? Happle. Sobble, like a sad Pokemon and a happy Pokemon.
Oh, that's funny.
But it evolved into a Drizzle, and I haven't gotten to a Pokemon Center to change its name yet.
I'm sure some of you out there know what he's talking about, but I'm not so up to speed on the Pokemon, so that sounds like a different language to me.
Yeah. You learn this eventually in the game, but if you repetitively tap A, then it plucks the Pikmin.
Yes.
But it's only like that in Pikmin. It's only like that in Pikmin 1 and Pikmin 2. In Pikmin 3, you have to press the B for that controller. Like for if you're using the Wii U gamepad, you have to press L to cancel stuff. Weird, huh?
Yes. Okay, is that all of our pellets? I think we got them all.
Yes, that is all your pellets, but there's one right there.
Oh,
There's one pellet. Yeah, I kind of forgot about that one.
Here we go. There's the last one.
We both kind of forgot. Mommy. A random colored 20 pellet eventually appears up there. So the second time you come back to this area, a 20 pellet appears there.
Okay, that's right.
Of a random color.
So eventually when we come back, there will be a whole lot more to this area.
Yes, and there are 3 parts in this area. There are 3 parts in this area. And this game is just really fun. There's a lot to explore. And it's also a lesson about the multitasking and the teamwork.
Yes. Okay, when many Pikmin seeds sprout at once, I find it rather tedious to pluck them from the ground individually. My wife always told me I was no good at routine tasks. I guess I'll try to get it all done at once by repeatedly tapping A until I pick all the Pikmin from the ground. I've noticed that when I add Pikmin to my group, they become filled with excitement and flushed with bright color. At other times, they revert to a paler hue and give off a dim glow. Paying close attention to these differences is bound to help me distinguish between Pikmin. Okay, we'll check that out in a second. Let's see.
That's a little detail in this game. That's just a little detail.
It is.
On which is your Pikmin and which isn't. That never happens in Pikmin 2 or Pikmin 3.
Alright, so we're gonna
It's just a cool thing from this game.
dismiss these guys, and look, as they sit there, they become pale.
Yes, but when you
Alright.
call them. So
Well,
like
they're
if
ready
you
then.
like throw one and then like if you throw one and then walk through and like put your group on it, you can tell them out to see if you're standing on it.
What am I missing?
No, I said you could throw one and make it to where it looks like it's in a group.
Yeah, but we know it's not because it's pale.
Yes, but like you could like put all the other Pikmin on it, and that's how you tell it out. Is what I was trying to get you to do.
Gotcha. Well, this helps you distinguish if there's one that's not with you. If it's not part of your squad, you need to call it to you. It becomes important at the end of a day, because if you leave one behind that's not in your squad, you lose it. It dies.
Yes. Like, but sometimes with some, one time I had a Pikmin extinction, and
what's a Pikmin extinction?
It's when all of your Pikmin die for that one color.
Yeah, that's pretty sad, isn't it?
Yes. One time I had a Pikmin extinction because I accidentally didn't realize that I had any reds out, but I actually had 100 reds out by the end of sundown. I had like 20 reds out by the end of sundown. It was awful. I hate it when that happens.
It's sad.
In Pikmin 3, there was just one fruit that I got too slow because I thought my Pikmin were acting weird.
Oh, glorious. With the help of these Pikmin, I've taken a huge step back toward home. My ship can once again lift off. The glimmer of hope is beginning to burn more brightly. But what has become of the remaining parts? That search starts tomorrow.
Look, I have beaten Pikmin 3 twice. The original Pikmin once, and Pikmin 2 never.
You've beat a bunch of games. These Pikmin games, they're pretty challenging the first time you play through. You have to do a lot of problem solving, critical thinking.
Yeah.
Okay, here we are, exiting our first area, one day since impact. I've somehow managed to launch the Dolphin, but I was surprised to see the Onion lift off with me. Perhaps the Pikmin cannot survive overnight on the planet's surface. Or have they merely decided to join me for other reasons? Either way, it seems they will help me again tomorrow. The Dolphin is missing 29 parts. If I can't recover them all, I may never return home to my family on planet Hocotate. Analysis shows life support systems will function for only 29 more days. How can I repair my Dolphin in such a short time? A dense forest is visible on the surface below. As it holds the keys to my survival, I name it the Forest of Hope. I explore it tomorrow. So we have to average 1 part per day, more preferably, so that we can get old Captain Olimar back to his home. Saving.
You know, Daddy got